Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of Out and About. This is Barry Fair here with Mark English, and it's Monday, the 12th of September, and it's great to have your company here on this Monday, wherever you may be watching our series of Out and About. Well, we are going to go out and about again today. We were going to do in the studio, but I thought, no, I'm not going to waste my funding by sitting here. So, just recapping Indropilly once again from last week. We had a good time there last week. And what a good time we had. Here's Mark English now. Good morning, Mark. Welcome to episode 38.
Thank you very much, Barry. Good to be here again. And nice to know we'll be heading out at least for a little while. And yes, I think you've got a thing for the games at Time Zone. And you do love having a bells and whistles day out.
I think we'll do it again because it's it's so lovely there, and I really do love the place. So the rules about shopping centres, guys, do not, and we repeat, do not pick up your rubbish and go. Here's Mark now putting his opening sequence on this.
Yeah, so not only do you not throw it on the ground, but don't just leave it where you're sitting either. The intention is to pick it up and put it in the bin, just to keep the place tidy for everyone.
Because, as we said on the Scarborough episode, don't be a tosser. If it's not in the bin, it's on you. And there are fines for those who litter the shopping centres and parks. Here's Mark now.
Yes, it's there are penalties that apply. To be honest, I've never actually seen a fine handed out for littering, but I suspect that they do happen on occasion, and it's just easier to avoid the situation altogether by putting things in the bin.
So we're going to go out to Indropilly because I enjoy the taxi trips out there, because I enjoy the rides and stuff like that. So let's hope we are not stuck out there getting back like we were last Monday afternoon. That was horrendous. Here's Mark.
Yes, it was a very long wait and a very frustrating time. When you're waiting for over 2 hours for a taxi from what's really a major transport hub. Very frustrating indeed. But obviously, there's virtually nothing that we can do about it under the circumstances.
So we are now going to close this intro by saying, do not raise your voice because the cab has not shown up. We have to be considerate and realize that taxi drivers are not superheroes. Here's Mark now to close this intro with that.
Exactly right. and they're all independent operators that essentially work for themselves, and or somebody that owns the taxi, but it's rarely got anything to do with the actual taxi company. And it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances that leave us out in the cold all the time. But as Barry said, whilst it's very frustrating, it falls into the nobody's fault category. So being rude or abusive to a taxi driver when they do turn up is very counterproductive.
So we'd like to close this intro by saying, please, and we repeat, please, have respect, dignity, and be courteous. And speaking of taxis, we'd better go. So we'll see you out in Indropilly, guys.
All right, see you soon.
Bye-bye. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the second part of our video today, and we're at time zone again at Indropilly. Here's Mark English.
Yep, so Barry loves coming into time zone and having a little spin. So he's about to give us a demo of what he's up to.
I'm about to give you a demonstration on what I'm up to. So here we go. Okay.
One more spin.
Well done. And there he goes. Continue to get more spins.
Okay, one lap go and then we're off by.
There he goes. Continue to get more spins.
Okay, we'll just give you one lap demo and then off for a good review.
And there he goes. Unbelievable. That was awesome. Continue to get more spins.
So another spin, Barry? Thought you might say yes.
Why don't you have a go?
And there he goes. Continue to get more spins.
Right, let's try the other game.
Well, good afternoon, and guess where we are again, in Indropilly. So, this is our third and final visit to this shopping centre. We've done Indropilly twice now, and this is our third time. So just to let you know, so far on Out in the Belt, we've covered shopping centres. And joining me now is Mark English. Good afternoon.
G'day, Barry. How are you?
Good. So, it is very important, guys, to keep the shopping centres clean. We've said this a number of times on our Out and About videos. Here's Mark now for his opening sequence on this.
Absolutely, Barry. So, as you have often said, very important to keep our environment clean and tidy, both for an aesthetic pleasure as well as being functional. So, obviously, everything's much easier to use if you turn up and it's already clean. So, as Barry says, always clean up after yourself.
But don't litter the shopping centres and pick up your rubbish and go because it's a disgusting habit. We've also said this a number of times. So if you don't clean up after yourselves, then excuse me, then it will fold it back. Rules. Here's Mark.
Yep. Although, whilst it might be somebody else's fault when they litter, all of us have to suffer. So, much nicer for everyone just to do the tiny little bit of tidying up after themselves.
So don't leave it to someone else to clean up unless you're really overwhelmed. Here's Mark.
And I'm sure under those circumstances there'll be somebody with you that'll pick up after you. So there's never going to be a reasonable excuse.
You can never assume that you're going to do well on the day of your outing. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, well, as we well know, Barry, you can head out and feel not too bad when you start out, but it can all fall apart and you can go downhill during the day and end up quite unwell.
And you remember on an episode 21 where I went, here's Mark.
Yep, so perfect example. We started off the day quite well, and by the end of the day, Barry was clearly unwell and suffering for being up and about. And it was that afternoon you found out that you had COVID.
All the night I had COVID actually. So going back to June 14, guys, that was a disaster. We had to stop production there, so not a good look. Here's Mark.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look, and you were struggling, but it's all ancient history now, so time to move on.
And time to move on. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm not continuing the show here in Queensland. Well, I've been trying to organise this move. Here's Mark.
Well, almost from the time that I met you, Barry, you've been saying, you know, your plan has always been to move back to New South Wales, and so originally I know we talked about the first time you were talking about scheduling the move was for mid-August.
And that fell through.
And subsequently I think you've done another 78 evaluations and progress reports to go before the NDIA to see if you can have approval for a bit of funding to help you move. Still waiting on that to happen, but it does sound like things are progressing.
So, I'm going to leave me in the now after we do this video, but just to let you know, guys, it is very important to keep your shopping centers clean. Okay, don't be a little bug, and like I said a couple of minutes ago, don't be an absolute fool, because you should know better than to litter the shopping centre. Here's Mark now.
Well, it's not just shopping centres, it's everywhere and anywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere. So if you can't find the bin like we said on the last visit to Indropilly, okay, dispose of your rubbish when you get home, put it in your own bin, and you'll be right. Here's Mark.
Absolutely. Easiest way to get rid of anything is where you know, so you know where you throw your rubbish at home, and if you can't see a bin handy, just pack it up and carry it with you. If you don't see another one between there and home, take it home, but otherwise there's always bins available out and about, so just use what's already provided.
Guys, I was just from Sydney to try and speak to someone, so I'm going to try within the next half hour or so to get in touch with them again to find out what's happening. Here's Mark.
Yep, I'll be very pleased if you can find out what's happening. It's a constant battle, as you would expect when dealing with bureaucracy. So we'll find out hopefully today, but more likely we'll find out when we find out.
So this is out and about episode 38, guys. Episode 39 coming up very soon, and next week on the show we'll be going to the park, which is nice. Okay, so we haven't been to the park for a while, so here's Mark.
Yeah, we're designated next week as outdoors, and we haven't been to a park for a little while, and I was actually going to suggest to you we have a look at the Botanic Gardens.
And why don't we go there if it's nice and sunny?
Exactly.
Guys, we hope that you've enjoyed the program on shopping centres and things like that. And the number that we rely on 24 hours a day, you know what it is. We bring it up each week here on the show, and that is 000. Please do not ring that number for stupid, trivial issues. Here's Mark now to close our last shopping centre visit with that.
I agree with Barry. Don't use 000 for anything other than emergencies. Everything that it wastes time on is potentially affecting the service that's provided to somebody that does have an emergency need. So just avoid using it for anything other than its intended purpose. And I'd just like to say that I think we will be back to this shopping centre, because I've come to realise over the last couple of weeks that Barry's addicted to time zone.
Yeah. So if it's raining, we will do a full shopping centre visit. So we hope that you will join us next Monday for another jam-packed adventure. This is out and about, and if you'd like us to film anywhere, like I said, on the Stormcliff episode, I should say, please do comment below we'd like to hear from you, Barry and Mark. We know when we bring the shows to you each and every week here. So if you'd like us to join our tour or anywhere like that, please do give us a comment on the accessibility to, okay, please make sure that you have know whether it's accessible or not. Here's Mark.
Yeah, so any functional questions at all, give us a little note what you'd like to find out, and we'll try and find out for you and bring it to the show.
So this is episode 38 now, episode 39. Okay, we were going to do in the studio today, but I thought, why not? Heck, I was sitting around. Okay, let's get in the cab and go somewhere. And that's what we've done today. So the weather is good, guys. We'll be out and about again in the Botanic Gardens, and we might even do a book review on next week's show too. Here's Mark.
Well, the book review will be interesting. I'm sure I haven't read it, so my review of the book will be exceedingly interesting and mostly made up. And it is important, guys, to go commit yourself to the outing. So until we see you next Monday for Out and About, this has been Barry, Sarah and Mark English here. Thanks for your company today, and we look forward to your company next week on episode 39. Here's Mark now for his farewell and reminder of the new digital 000. Yep, so I look forward to catching up with everyone again next week. Just to reiterate what Barry said, if there's anything you would like to ask us, just ask. We'll try and get you an answer. And as always, we close the show with don't abuse the 000 service. It's for emergencies only. It's only for fire, ambulance, police, and if you need one of those services urgently, that's when you use 000. Otherwise, there are other ways to contact them.
So we've been aimed broke, guys. Leave it alone. Here's Mark.
Exactly. It works because most people respect it, and they do have some issues with clowns abusing the system, but thankfully it's not so many that it can't be dealt with, but it certainly does slow down the service, and we want it to be left open and uncluttered so that when genuine emergencies come in, they can be dealt with immediately.
So we'd like to leave you with that quote, and we will wrap it all up at the studio, back at the studio. Thanks for your time today, or company, I should say. Same thing. We look forward to bringing you next week's show.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Until then, have a safe Monday night, have a safe week, and we'll see you again.
See you next week.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We hope that you've enjoyed our shopping centre visits
and time zone. We really do appreciate you tuning in with us each week, and we've had a real good day today. We've done a lot. Here's Mark now.
All right, yes, we've had a busy time, Barry, so hopefully our attempts to organise a taxi will pay off, and he'll be along shortly to collect us.
So we do hope that you continue to enjoy our Out and About series. And like I said, this is episode 38, episode 39, guys, coming up with Mark and myself next Monday at 10 o'clock. And we'd like you to let us know where you'd like us to film. We'd like to hear from you. Here's Mark now to reenact on what I've just said here.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic to hear from anyone that's interested in anything that we might be able to help out with, or go and check a place out. So give us suggestions.
We'd really like to hear from you about it. Okay, so Out and About, this is what it's called, guys. You know where Mark and I bring the show to you, and just a reminder about keeping the shopping centres clean, guys. Please do that, okay? And there are bins provided. And that's all we've got time for this week on Out and About. Please do join us again next Monday on the Botanic Gardens. We look forward to your company then. But in the meantime, stay safe, everybody, and here's Mark to say his goodbye now.
Thanks, Barry. And yep, have a great week, safe week, and we look forward to hearing from you and hopefully tuning in next week.
And the Botanic Gardens is going to be episode 39 on Out and About. Join us next Monday for a jam-packed day. We look forward to your company then. So, from Mark Inglis and myself now, have a great week, a great weekend, and we'll see you next Monday.
See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.